All right. Hey, everybody. Good morning. It's Jill with Go English Coach. I've got a free class for us this morning. It's morning for me, but I'm sure for many of you it's not morning. I tried to schedule these free live classes at a time of the day when in other parts of the world it is a little bit, maybe it's after your work time. Or in the morning before you go to work. So I'm always interested to hear if these times work for you guys. Please provide feedback. You can always do that and contact me if you guys are in the app. I'm going to show you here. So if you have not downloaded the app yet, it's free to download, and with the app, then you get access to a couple of things. First thing that you get access to, just with the free membership, is community. So, we have, it kind of looks like a little bit like there's like an activity feed and things like that. And then there's some courses that you can kind of decide if you want to purchase them. So there's all these courses. And then you can interact with other people on the app. So if you guys have not downloaded that, please go ahead and do that. It's in the App Store, both on iPhone and or Apple and Android. And that is just kind of the best way to stay connected with things that we're doing, new classes coming up. Every time we do have a class, I send out an email, and also the ability with the app, which is really great, is I can send you guys notifications. Okay, so if you're like, oh, I forgot about that class, I really wanted to attend that, you can sign up to get notifications from the app. So that's kind of my favorite part. That's for the free membership. So, and with the free membership, you get one free live class. So this is a live class, meaning right now I'm standing here teaching this to you guys, and people are able to join. And then we do have other live classes throughout the week, and those are accessible to our premium and elite members. And both of those memberships are pretty affordable. I think we've got premium at like just under $20 per month. And then you get access to all of the live classes. So generally what happens with the live class schedule is that I've got a pronunciation and fluency class that I teach, and typically a grammar class as well, and also a business English. So those are the three kind of main classes that I have been teaching. And again, I try to schedule those, with everyone's other parts of, everyone's schedules in mind. So, but again, if there are like, hey, teacher, I would really love, to access that class, but I can never make that time. Just please let me know the time of day that would work for you. I really just want to be able to make these classes accessible to as many people as possible, okay? And then the other piece with the premium membership, if you are not able to attend a live class, don't worry, because every class is recorded, edited, and then put up in the app so you can watch in our section that says recent classes. I'll show you guys here. So in the app, so this is our app, right? If you scroll down here and it says, whoa, this way. There we go. Here, let's see if I can just make that. So here you go. You've got this part here that says recent classes. That's where I will post basically all of the classes, all of the live classes, the paid classes. Those will get posted in that recent classes section in the app. And so you'll never miss a class, okay? Okay, so if you guys are just kind of joining in here, just welcome in and say hi. That's kind of just my little intro about the app and some classes. So let's just kind of get started. I got to make sure everybody can see everything here. So one of the things that I talk a lot about is pronunciation, fluency, accent training. And the reason why I focus so heavily on that piece is I have found over the years that it's often a missing piece. In the English learner's journey in general. I've found that many people have studied English, grammar, things like that for many, many years. And when people have studied something for a long time, they expect that they would be able to, good morning, welcome, welcome. Um, After you've studied English for a long time, I would expect, and most people expect, that I should be able to speak English, right? But often what happens is many people don't get the opportunity to practice speaking. And so their English is basically from a textbook, which is wonderful. But I think most people that want to, most people that study English want to learn, right? They want to be able to speak. They want to be able to use the language. And so that is why I focus so heavily on pronunciation, almost more than other parts. So we do some grammar classes, and of course, grammar is important, but I really love to focus on pronunciation because it's kind of that last final piece, right? The other piece about pronunciation that I think is really important is you need to get feedback, right? So if you think about a child learning a language, maybe their first language, one of your children, we don't correct children, right? We typically, at least in American culture, we don't say that's wrong. We just kind of say it correctly. And so a lot of people were like, well, I can just learn to speak better English by, watching a YouTube video or something like that. I have to keep admitting people, but the fact is, realistically, a language is meant to be practiced, right? Practiced with other people. And that is how we gain our skills and therefore our confidence, okay? So I've said a lot of things, and I don't want to make this boring, but I wanted you guys to just kind of understand why I focus so heavily on pronunciation and fluency. So if you're just joining us, welcome. Thanks so much for being here. So the lesson I have prepared for you today is a lesson where we're going to just kind of do an overview of the vowel sounds of English, okay? The vowel sounds. So one aspect of English that is difficult, in my opinion, are the vowel sounds and the sound spelling connection, right? So what does that mean? That means that we have, so if we think about the vowels of English, right? The vowels of English, just from the letter standpoint, right? We have A, we have E, I, O, and U, and we typically say them in that order, A, E, I, O, U, okay? And then sometimes they say, and sometimes Y. Okay, so that's when people talk about the vowels of English, we typically say there are 5-letter vowels. Now, here's where it gets to be a little tricky because these are all of our vowel sounds. Oh my gosh, what does that mean, right? So we have 5 letters, 5/6, okay, 5/6 letters, but we have 14 vowel sounds. So what does that mean? That means that sometimes you have an A that sounds like, let's see, happy, okay? You have the A and it says ah, happy, okay? So that's this sound, ah. So you've got the letter A, but the sound is ah, okay? You can have a letter A that sounds like, let's see. Oh, I like this one. How about this? Hot, hot, ah. To me, that sounds in many other languages, right? Ah, it sounds like an A sound. But in this word, we have the spelling is an O, okay? But the pronunciation is ah. So this is hot, ah, okay? So that is one of the biggest, I think, issues or problems with the English sound system is that we have this difference between the sounds and the spelling, right? And so what does that mean? That means we just have to practice it, okay? And the way that we do that in my Master Your Accent class, so this is just kind of an overview of that class. The Master Your Accent class, we really dive deep into the sounds of English and specifically the vowel sounds. So we're going to do a little overview of that right now. Okay, so keeping in mind that we have these 5 letters, but we have 14 different sounds. Okay, so let's just start going through what are all of these vowel sounds. What are the vowel sounds? Okay. Okay. So typically in my class, we start with, hopefully you're familiar with this, what these are. And if you're not, I'm going to take a minute to explain it. When I have these lines, right, line, the sound is here. Okay, that's the sound. So every time you see me have a line, a symbol, and a line, we're using the International Phonetic Alphabet. Okay, international, I'm sure you guys have used this, phonetic alphabet, okay? And the reason why we practice this in my class is because of what I just described to you guys, which is we do not have, English is not a phonetic language, right? So we have to be able to talk about the sounds separate from the letters, right? Otherwise, this word, if you're new to English, we know you would look at the letters and you would say hot, right? O, it'd be an O sound. And that's completely understandable. So that's the reason why I spend a lot of time teaching these phonetic symbols, okay? So that we have kind of like a language or a way to discuss the sounds, okay? Another thing I would like to say about the IPA, so when we just talk about the International Phonetic Alphabet, I will often just say the IPA. The other thing I would like to point out to you is sometimes in some books, there's some different symbols. So, you might have, let's see, these are the symbols I will use. Sometimes people might do like that with like a superscript at the top. Don't worry about that too much. I think if you are using, say, a dictionary to determine how to pronounce something, I think it will be easy. You'll be able to see even if something is a little bit different. So don't worry too much about that. So for example, some dictionaries might use just this, okay? I like to use the I with the Y. I just think it's more descriptive, okay? So anyways, these are the symbols that I use. A lot of them come from this book, this Well Said book. I utilize this book probably more. I have so many books, but this is probably my favorite. The order of the lessons in this book is really good. It's an older book. There is a newer version, but and I'm not promoting this like a commercial, but I do think it's a really good book to practice with. And this book uses these symbols primarily. All right, let's jump in on some of these sounds. Okay. E, this is the long E sound. Okay, long E. So when we make this sound, we have our mouth is like E, like I'm smiling. Okay. Let's give some examples of this sound. Okay, how about me? She. Okay, so the sound here is coming from this E sound, and we call this a long sound. So it's a long E. Okay, E. All right. My mouth is not as wide. It's a little bit sound because my mouth is relaxed. So, big. Okay, big. Um, let's see. Eh. Sometimes I just can't, like, I can't even think about it. This is why I use the books all the time. Okay. Let this fix. Okay. Let's just keep going. We will come up with so many other different sounds here. The next one is an A, long A. Okay. So let's see, like gave, came. Okay. So I want you guys to notice. So what another piece about pronunciation is this idea of learning the patterns of English. So one of the patterns that we teach in English is that when you have this E, the silent E at the end of the word, it makes the vowel a long sound. So when we talk about vowels in English, we typically, one of the ways we describe them is a long vowel or a short vowel, okay? This is a long one. So this is short. This one is long, okay? And I think it just helps us to A, recognize the patterns, and then B, make sure that we're pronouncing it correctly, okay? All right, so the next one here, we've got a short sound, okay, Think of head or beg, okay? So another thing I would like to point out here in this one in particular is that we've got two different spellings, okay? So the sound in this word beg is just, we are using a single E, okay, beg. Here we've got EA, head, okay? So again, we're just kind of recognizing the differences between the spellings and the sounds, okay? All right, so the next one we kind of already talked a little bit about is happy, let's see, dad. Okay, that's another example. If you guys are writing these down, and I suggest, taking some notes, and then when you're kind of listening throughout the day, maybe if you're able to kind of practice English throughout your day, you can kind of recognize some of those sounds and be like, oh, that's a good one. And maybe, write it down in your notebook or something like that. This one is a little bit different. So you notice it looks a little bit like this, and it's got this R above it. So okay. And the reason that we use that as a separate vowel versus just saying, well, it's a with an R, is the R sound in English and many other languages really can change the vowel sound. So we kind of give it its own symbol, okay? So like so think of world, girl, bird, Okay, that sound comes from the back of my mouth, bird. This one actually can be kind of a difficult sound because of the R. Okay, so for example, even children, in the United States who are native speakers tend to have an issue with the R sound for a little while, maybe until 5 or 6 years old, and they might have a hard time with R, and they might have a hard time with S or L. So those are sounds that we typically practice too. So, okay, this one is probably the most common sound in the English language, and for sure the most common vowel. It's the sound. Now, I don't want to go too deep into this. We'll do this in a future lesson. These two sounds are the same sound, okay? Like cup, what, okay? Now I want you, so it's this upside down V. I always think of it as this, like, okay? It's like somebody's punching you in the stomach. Notice the difference in the spelling. Here we've got an A, and this is a U, so what? Cup, okay? We use this same one, so here's an example, about, okay, about, and this is the sound. So in this word, we have two different vowels, right? And ow, and ow. Well, then the question is, teacher, why do we have two different symbols for the same sound? It's a great question. The reason is that in this sentence, this is where the sound is, this sound, and it's in the unstressed syllable, okay? We haven't talked yet in our live classes, in our free live classes, about syllables. Actually, no, we did. In our last Friday, we talked about syllables a little bit. So if you haven't seen that class, you guys go back and watch that one as well. So and the stress, so we've got about. So we're using this to describe when the syllables happen, okay? About, the stress is on this second syllable, okay? And so this is stressed here. This is not stressed. It is reduced. And so we say it smaller and more quietly. Okay, we'll talk about stress in another class, but that is also something that we talk about in the Master Your Accent course. So if you guys are interested in that course, feel free to message me in the app, or you can email me. We're going to get started with that course in June. So June, I think 2nd is the first day. Okay, and we will cover more of information and things like this and really spend some time making sure that we've got these sounds just dialed, okay? So we've got ah, the example is hot, or father, or knowledge, okay? Knowledge, okay. This one is ooh, like, this one I think actually has so many different spellings. Ooh. So you can have blue. Here's the sound here. You can have through with EW. You could have shoe. Okay. That one has a lot of different spellings. We've got like good or book. Okay, ow, like ow, or now, okay, ow. This is, here, let's just jump down to here. This is ah, like law. So your mouth goes really open, okay? And in our course, we spend one class per kind of set of, so we do about 6 or 7 lessons just on the vowels, because the vowels are the foundation for other pieces. So the vowels are the foundation for where we get our intonation. And the intonation, the rhythm and the intonation of English is really where your accent lives, is in intonation and rhythm. And the ways that you align yourself with the accent of, let's say, American English, is within learning the vowels and practicing the intonation, okay? the stress, rhythm, and intonation. All right, now we've got I, so think of this one like fine or my. And you can see here the difference of the spellings is incredible, right? We've got here just Y, and then here we've got the long I. So my mouth is really open, fine. Okay, we have to get comfortable with opening our mouth and using our whole mouth, okay? Okay, ah, let's see. Let's see, this is different. Let's actually just jump to here. This one is oi, so like boy, okay? Annoy. Okay. Okay, I made a mistake here. So this one is O. Okay, so go, show. Okay, this one is ah, like ow, like now, cow. Okay, see how different those are? And I've been studying this for years and I just made that mistake. So really, you guys, it is super important to practice these, okay? This is just a quick overview. We will jump into this way more deeply when we do the master accent course. So I really hope that you guys consider kind of joining that. If that is too much of a commitment, I think it's a great idea for people to get the premium membership, because we will also cover that in these classes. Okay, so the pronunciation and fluency class. Don't forget to check the calendar. That's where we know in the calendar, you know, if you guys look here, let's see. So within the app here, see, you've got this. Okay, let's see if I can make this. So here we've got this like live upcoming events, and that's where you can see like for the next week, what are the lessons that are happening. Oh, I know this one. You can add it to your calendar so that it sends you a reminder. So it's really been very handy for a lot of people. So anyways, thank you guys so much for being here. I will see you in our next lesson, and I can't wait to see you guys there. Have a great day. Bye.